The Atlantic slept under a thin silver moon, a mirror of darkness stretching farther than sight itself. Beneath it, 60 meters down, the Valkyrie crept like a predator in slow motion. She was a German U-boat, lean and cold, made of riveted steel and quiet fear. Inside her hull, 60 men lived as one breathing organism, a single pulse of metal, sweat, and silence. Every wall dripped with condensation. Every breath tasted of oil and stale air. It wasn't a ship, it was a coffin that moved. Captain Eric Mahler stood by the periscope, tall and rigid, his gray eyes fixed on nothing, yet seeing everything. The dim red light carved his face into sharp lines. Around him, his men worked with soft precision, checking gauges, adjusting valves, scribbling notes. Words were rare here. The deeper they went, the smaller their voices became. "Depth 50 meters, said Jonas, the helmsman, without looking up. "Maintain course west-northwest, Mahler answered quietly. "We're close." No one asked what close meant. Questions only wasted oxygen. They all knew what hunted them above: destroyers, convoys, the endless roar of the British Navy. And yet tonight, luck whispered in the dark. Then it came, the sonar's first ping. Slow. Hollow. The crew froze. "Contact," murmured the operator. "Bearing 240. Large target. Moving steady." Mahler leaned over the scope. Through the trembling water, he saw it. 5 black shapes sliding across the horizon. Merchant ships. Unescorted. He didn't smile. "Prepare torpedoes 1 through 4, he said. A hiss filled the silence. The submarine tilted slightly, like a beast ready to strike. Seconds stretched into forever. Fire 1. The ocean held its breath. Then boom. The sea lit up below. One ship burning. The war had begun again. The explosion rolled through the water like thunder trapped beneath the sea. For a second, the men aboard the Valkyrie just stared at each other, their faces pale under the red emergency lamps. One ship gone. Flames above. They had struck first. But in the silence that followed, everyone waited for the inevitable reply. And it came. The sonar pulsed again, faster, sharper. "Destroyer inbound," shouted the operator. "Bearing 248, closing fast." The captain's eyes hardened. "Crash dive. All hands. Secure compartments." The U-boat plunged down. Alarms wailed. Mugs, wrenches, and bits of paper floated in the narrow corridors as the submarine dove past 60, 70, 80 meters. The pressure grew like an invisible fist, squeezing every bolt, every rib of the ship. The lights flickered. Someone muttered a prayer. Then boom. A depth charge detonated above them. The sound didn't just shake the air, it tore through bone. Dust rained from the ceiling. Another explosion, closer this time. The hull screamed. "Level at 120 meters, shouted Jonas, gripping the controls. "Hold steady," said Mahler. His voice was calm, but sweat dripped from his neck. He knew the destroyer was above, circling, listening for their next move. A faint metallic creak echoed through the sub. Everyone froze. Even the sea seemed to stop. The captain whispered, "Engines off." The humming ceased. Silence swallowed them whole. They waited, seconds stretching like hours. The sonar stayed quiet. Maybe the destroyer had lost them. Maybe. Ping. The sound stabbed the air. Louder. Closer. Then came the next depth charge. The lights went out. Darkness swallowed everything. The red lights flickered once, then died completely, leaving the Valkyrie in a void so complete that the men could barely see their own hands. The only sound was the ocean pressing against the hull, a low groan, deep and endless. It felt like the sea itself wanted in. "Damage report," barked Captain Mahler, his voice echoing off the walls. "Flooding in compartment 3, came the reply. "Minor leak, we can patch it. Do it, and keep it quiet." The crew moved by instinct. Someone struck a match. For a heartbeat, its tiny flame revealed faces, pale, dripping, terrified. Then it went out. They worked by touch now, guided by memory and fear. Above them, the destroyer prowled like a wolf, dropping another pattern of depth charges. The distant explosions rumbled through the water. The Valkyrie trembled. A loose wrench fell, clattering on the deck, and every man flinched. Even a sound like that could give them away. "Engines off. Hold depth," ordered Mahler. "We wait." "How long, sir?" asked Jonas. His voice was barely audible. "As long as it takes." Minutes stretched. The air turned heavy, thick with oil and sweat. Someone coughed. Someone else prayed. The captain closed his eyes. He remembered the faces of his crew, boys, most of them. He wondered which ones would die first if the hull cracked. Then, silence. No sonar pings. No propeller hum from above. The destroyer was gone. Or so it seemed. "Sir," whispered the sonar operator. Faint echo, moving away. Mahler exhaled, almost smiling. "We live another hour." But just as relief washed over them, a sharp metallic creak ran along the hull, the unmistakable voice of the deep. They were sinking. "Ballast tanks," the captain shouted. No response. Only the sea, whispering louder now. The Valkyrie was falling into darkness. The Valkyrie groaned as it descended past 150 meters. The hull creaked, moaning like some wounded beast, the sound rolling through every pipe and rivet. Men clung to whatever they could, eyes wide in the flickering emergency light. Water hissed somewhere behind the bulkhead, a thin, steady leak, like the ocean whispering at the door. "Blow ballast," shouted Mahler. The engineer turned the valve. Nothing. The wheel spun uselessly. "It's jammed, sir." Manual override now. The submarine tilted nose down, sliding deeper. The gauges trembled. One burst. Glass shattered across the control room. Jonas gripped the helm, muscles straining. "She's not responding," he yelled over the noise. Mahler steadied himself against the wall. The air was thick with oil, fear, and something else, a faint metallic scent that always came before disaster. "We'll hold her," he said, though his voice lacked its usual steel. "We will hold her." The men worked furiously. Sparks burst from a fuse box. Steam poured from a broken pipe, turning the narrow corridor into a ghostly mist. Somewhere aft, someone screamed, a hand caught in machinery. The captain didn't flinch. Not now. Not yet. Then, suddenly, a lurch. The Valkyrie shuddered, then steadied. The descent stopped. The men froze. For a moment, the submarine hung in stillness, balanced between death and survival. "We're holding," said Jonas, voice trembling. "Depth 190. Maintain it," Mahler ordered. They had escaped the fall, but the silence that followed was not peace. The sonar was still, the destroyer gone. Yet something else moved out there, faint ripples on the radar. Too deep, too slow to be a ship. "Captain," whispered the sonar operator. "There's something below us." A pause. The captain's eyes narrowed. "Below?" "Yes, sir," moving upward. The deep was not empty. For a few long seconds no one breathed. The sonar's green line swept the screen again, slow and hypnotic, until it touched the faint signal rising from beneath them. One soft ping filled the control room. Lower, heavier than the sharp echo of a ship. Everyone turned toward the sound as if it had weight. "Depth 210 meters, whispered the operator. "Object approaching, steady. Could be a wreck shifting in the current," said Jonas, though his voice betrayed doubt. Mahler leaned closer. "Currents don't climb, Jonas." The captain's eyes moved across the room. The men waited, suspended between curiosity and dread. He knew this ocean better than most, its moods, its lies, but something about that signal felt wrong. "Alive. Engines off," he said. Silent running. The hum faded. The Valkyrie floated in stillness. Every creak, every heartbeat seemed amplified. Then, through the hull, came a sound, a low, dragging scrape, like metal against stone. The deck vibrated beneath their boots. "What was that?" someone whispered. No one answered. The sonar flared again. The contact was now directly below. Something massive shifted the pressure around them. Water in the bilge trembled, rippling without wind or motion. "Could it be a whale?" the engineer asked. The sonar officer shook his head. "No, whales don't echo like that." Then came another sound, distant yet distinct, a rhythmic thudding, slow and deliberate, as if something was striking the hull with enormous patience. 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. The captain whispered, "Hold positions." His voice was calm, but his hands trembled. Outside, the sea pressed closer. Inside, fear grew teeth. The sound came again, 3 deep, measured blows against the hull, each one heavier than the last. The steel walls shuddered. Tiny flakes of rust fell from the ceiling, dusting the men's hair and shoulders. The Valkyrie was a fortress of iron, yet at that moment it felt fragile as glass. "Pressure readings spiking," said the engineer, his voice trembling. Depth 220 meters. She won't hold much deeper. Maintain depth, ordered Mahler. We don't run until we know what's below us. The men exchanged uneasy looks. They had seen destroyers, storms, even fire at sea, but this was different. There was no tactic, no procedure for an ocean that fought back. The sonar pulsed again. The contact was closer now, 20 meters, maybe less. The water outside seemed alive, shifting with each movement of the unseen thing. "Captain," whispered Jonas. "If that's a wreck, it's moving toward us." "I know," Mahler said quietly. The lights dimmed. A low vibration rolled through the submarine, rising in pitch until it felt like the whole ship was humming with the sound. Men covered their ears, grimacing. Then, suddenly, the noise stopped. Silence. The captain exhaled. "All ahead slow. Let's move east, away from it." Engines whirred to life. The Valkyrie glided forward, 10 meters, 20, then something hit them broadside. A violent crash shook the sub. Alarm screamed. The men were thrown against the walls. "Damage in compartment 4, shouted the engineer. "We're taking water." "Seal it," Mahler barked. "Pump systems online." Another impact. This one sharper, near the stern. The hull rang like a bell. For the first time, the captain saw fear in every face. Not the fear of death, but of something beyond understanding. And then, through the noise, came a low, mournful sound from the deep. Almost a voice. The Valkyrie pitched upward, its engines whining under strain. Water sloshed in the bilge as the submarine fought its way toward shallower depths. The captain gripped the periscope column to steady himself. Around him, the men worked in silence, breathing hard, faces pale, eyes wide. "Blow ballast," Mahler ordered. The engineer turned the wheel. Compressed air hissed through the pipes. The sub rose, slow at first, then faster. The depth gauge ticked upward, 200 meters, 180, 150. The hull moaned with relief. "Leak contained, sir," shouted a mechanic. "But the stern rudder's damaged. Keep her steady. We just need to breathe air again." As the Valkyrie climbed, the sonar fell quiet. Whatever had struck them wasn't following. Still, no one spoke of it. The ocean was full of secrets best left unnamed. At 90 meters, the light changed. It was faint, just a gray shimmer trickling through the water. For men who'd lived too long in red lamps and darkness, it felt like salvation. A few even smiled. Then ping. The sound was sharp, metallic, and unmistakable. Sonar, but not theirs. "Contact," yelled the operator. "Bearing 015. Surface ship above, fast. The destroyer. The one they thought they'd escaped." Silent running. Mahler snapped. The engines died again. The submarine coasted upward in silence, momentum carrying her to 70 meters. Through the periscope, faint shafts of moonlight rippled down. And there, just visible, the shadow of the destroyer drifting overhead like a shark. "Hold depth," the captain whispered. The destroyer's searchlights cut through the dark water, sweeping like the gaze of a god. Each beam passed dangerously close to their hull. One more second, and they'd be found. The destroyer's shadow loomed vast above them, gliding across the gray light like a phantom. Its propellers churned the sea, sending distant vibrations through the water, slow, steady, deliberate. The Valkyrie hung motionless below, trapped between survival and discovery. "Depth 70 meters, whispered Jonas. "We can go no shallower without being seen." Mahler nodded. His fingers tapped the metal periscope column, an old habit when thinking. "We stay quiet. She can't find what she can't hear." The crew barely breathed. Every click, every drip echoed through the silent hull like thunder. Above, the destroyer's sonar pinged again, sharper this time. Ping, ping, ping. Each note struck nerves raw. "Bearing 015. She's sweeping wide," said the sonar operator, voice shaking. The captain's eyes stayed on the overhead pipes. He could almost hear the ship's screws in his skull, a slow rhythmic thrum that seemed to sync with his pulse. Then, another ping, closer. The line on the sonar screen flared bright. "They've got us," said Jonas quietly. Mahler didn't answer. He only said, "All ahead slow. Prepare for silent descent, 100 meters." The engines came alive, barely audible hums of electric motors. The sub began to sink again, vanishing into darkness. Moments later, boom. A depth charge detonated above them, then another. The explosions rolled through the water like earthquakes. Light fixtures shattered. Men clutched the walls as pressure waves slammed the hull. Compartment 3 holding, someone yelled. Maintain angle, Mahler commanded. They'll guess our depth. Change it. Down to 140. The Valkyrie dove deeper, zigzagging, evading like a wounded animal. The ocean roared with death above. And through it all, the captain thought of one truth he could never say aloud. No submarine escapes forever. The destroyer prowled above like a god of thunder. Each explosion it cast into the deep was a heartbeat of death. The Valkyrie shook and shuddered, her walls screaming, her lights flickering. The men had stopped talking now. They only listened, to the sea, to the creaks, to the ticking of time itself. Damage report, Mahler shouted. No breaches, the engineer replied, voice hoarse. But aft ballast controls failing. We can't hold this depth much longer. Then we don't hold it, said the captain. We fight. The men stared. Fight? Against a destroyer? But Mahler's gray eyes burned with something fierce, something almost human again. Prepare tubes 5 and 6. Pattern spread. Jonas hesitated. Sir, that means surfacing within sonar range. Exactly, the captain said. They think we're prey. Let's remind them we bite. The crew scrambled to obey. Steam hissed through the torpedo tubes. Mahler gripped the railing, steady as a statue. Above, another depth charge went off, closer this time. The submarine lurched. Water burst from a pipe, spraying the wall. Ready to fire. Set bearing 210, Mahler ordered. Angle 5 degrees up. Confirmed. He took one last breath. Fire. 2 torpedoes screamed into the blackness, their engines slicing through the water like arrows of steel. The men listened, counting the seconds. 5, 10, 15. Then boom. The sound came distant but sharp. A muffled roar through the depths. The destroyer had been hit. Cheers erupted, wild and unrestrained. For a moment, the fear vanished, replaced by something almost like joy. But Mahler didn't celebrate. He looked at the sonar, at the faint shapes still moving above. There's another, he whispered. 2 destroyers. And the second one was already turning toward them. The cheer died as quickly as it began. Above them, the sea erupted again. A second set of propellers churned the water, heavier, faster, like thunder rolling through the deep. The sonar lit with twin echoes. 2 destroyers. The hunt had multiplied. Bearing 085 and 190, the operator reported. They're closing from opposite sides. Mahler pressed both palms to the chart table, tracing the bearings. They'll box us in. Jonas swallowed hard. Orders, sir? Down, the captain said. 200 meters. Hard and fast. The Valkyrie plunged. Val screamed. The pressure rose like a living weight. At 180, the hull began to sing, an eerie metallic moan that made men grit their teeth. Boom. A charge exploded far above, then another, closer. The shock waves rolled through the sub, rattling bolts loose, making gauges jump. A coffee mug floated up, spinning slowly in the dim red light before shattering on the deck. Compartment 5 flooding, a voice cried. Seal it, Mahler snapped. No heroics. They leveled at 210 meters. The ocean pressed like a giant's hand. Every groan of steel sounded like the last one they'd ever hear. Engines off, Mahler said. Let them chase ghosts. Silence returned, thick and absolute. The 2 destroyers prowled above, dropping charges in a deadly rhythm. Left, right, closer each time. The water outside boiled with sound. Then, amid the thunder, something unexpected, another echo on sonar. Not from above, from below. Slow, enormous, rising again. Jonas stared at the screen. Captain, it's back. Mahler's face turned pale in the flickering light. That thing wasn't finished with us. Outside, the deep began to whisper. The Valkyrie hung in darkness, caught in a nightmare of sound. Above, the destroyers hunted relentlessly, their propellers thundering like drums of war. Below, something vast moved through the depths, slow and deliberate. The pressure gauge quivered, as though even the sea itself feared to remain still. Depth steady at 210 meters, whispered Jonas. Hold her, said Mahler. His voice was calm, but his knuckles were white against the console. The sonar operator turned slowly toward him. Captain, the lower contact's enormous. It's not a submarine. It's not even metal. What then? I don't know, sir. But it's alive. A silence followed, thick, unbreathing. The captain looked at his crew. They were sailors, not dreamers, men of iron and oil. Yet every face now reflected the same thing, raw disbelief. Another ping came from above, sharper than before. The destroyers had their sin again. A charge detonated close enough to make the hull ring like a bell. Dust rained from the ceiling. Evasive maneuver, 10 degrees starboard, Mahler ordered. Quietly, the sub tilted slightly. The floor seemed to slide underfoot. Then, from below, came that sound again, a low vibration that built into a roar. The entire submarine shuddered as if grasped by something unseen. Tools fell, pipes groaned, men shouted. "Engines off," yelled Mahler. "Sir, it's pulling us down," the engineer cried. The pressure gauges spun wildly. Depth, 230, 250, 270. The wall screamed. "Release ballast." "Already did." "She's still sinking." The captain looked up, knowing the destroyers were still above, dropping death. But what waited below felt worse than any bomb. And as the submarine fell, the ocean began to glow. The deeper they sank, the brighter it became. It made no sense. The sea should have grown darker, black as ink. But instead the water outside the portholes shimmered with a strange, pale light. It wasn't white, nor blue, but something between, a living glow that pulsed like breath. The crew watched in silence, their fear paused by wonder. "Depth 300 meters, the engineer said faintly. "We shouldn't even be here." The hull groaned, rivets whining under the strain. Still, the Valkyrie fell, though slower now, as if something enormous carried her in its current. Through the observation port, Jonas saw movement, faint shapes twisting in the light. Not fish, too large, too slow. They drifted like curtains of mist, weaving around the submarine, brushing its sides. When one passed, every metal panel hummed softly, as though touched by static. "Captain," Jonas whispered. "Do you see that?" Mahler stepped closer. His face was ghost pale in the glow. "Yes." No one dared to speak further. The lights inside flickered once, then steadied. Instruments clicked back to life. The sonar screen, blank for minutes, now showed nothing but swirling static. Whatever was around them distorted every signal. Then came a vibration through the floor, gentle at first, rhythmic, like the slow beat of a drum. The men froze. Another pulse followed, heavier, closer. The glass in the dials quivered. "It's not current," said the engineer. "Something's breathing out there." Mahler turned toward the porthole again. For an instant, just beyond the glow, a vast shadow shifted. Something with the shape of movement, not form. He whispered, "All engines reverse. Get us out of here." The light outside dimmed, as if the sea had heard him. Engines roared to life, trembling through the steel ribs of the Valkyrie. The submarine strained upward, fighting the invisible weight that dragged it down. Gauges danced wildly, depth numbers sliding the wrong way. 320, 340, 360. The sea did not want to release them. Full reverse thrust. Mahler shouted. "Engines at maximum," cried the engineer. The men clung to the rails as the sub lurched, groaning under the force. Metal screamed. Bolts popped loose like gunshots. Then the sonar flickered. Static cleared for one heartbeat. A massive, curved shape appeared below them, outlined by the ghostly glow. It wasn't a mountain. It moved. The shape rose, slow and deliberate, casting their vessel into shadow. The light bent around it like a halo. For a second, the crew saw what held them. A colossal tendril, smooth and gray, wrapping the stern like the arm of the sea itself. "Cut engines," Mahler barked. "Flood forward tanks, now." The submarine tilted nose down, sliding free for an instant before the tendril tightened. The sound of steel bending filled the cabin, a long, tortured moan. Pressure rising, hull integrity failing. The captain grabbed the intercom. "All hands, brace for impact." A sudden jerk threw everyone to the deck. Sparks burst from the ceiling. Water sprayed through a hairline crack, misting the air. Then, without warning, the grip released. The Valkyrie shot upward like a freed arrow. Men shouted, clinging to pipes and ladders. "We're rising," Jonas cried. "We're clear." But outside, the glow vanished completely. Darkness swallowed everything. And from far below came one last sound, a low, resonant note that vibrated in their bones, half roar, half song. Whatever lived there wasn't angry. It was calling. The Valkyrie shot upward through the blackness, a wounded bullet rising from the heart of the sea. The crew clung to pipes and ladders, their bodies weightless as the submarine climbed. Depth gauges spun faster and faster, 300, 200, 150. The pressure eased, replaced by a shrill chorus of rattling steel and groaning bolts. Surface in 30 seconds. Jonas shouted. Mahler's jaw tightened. Blow ballast. We breach on my mark. Compressed air thundered through the tanks. The submarine trembled violently, rising faster than any of them had ever dared. Then, wham! They broke the surface. A deafening crash of waves and wind slammed against the hull. The crew tumbled as the Valkyrie rolled, half submerged, half floating in chaos. But when they looked out through the periscope, their triumph died instantly. The sea was on fire. Oil burned in wide, red patches, drifting like molten islands. Pieces of ships, wood, metal, lifeboats floated among the flames. The air reeked of fuel and salt and death. Above it all, the wreckage of a destroyer lay split in two, its bow pointing skyward like a tombstone. God, whispered Jonas. We did this. No, said Mahler quietly. Something else finished it. The captain scanned the horizon. The second destroyer was gone. Only silence and burning light remained. The ocean, moments ago their enemy, now felt hollow, too still, too quiet. Then the sonar buzzed weakly. One faint echo beneath them, not large, not fast, but alive. The captain spoke, voice low. Whatever was down there followed us. He looked at the fire reflected in the waves, the color of blood and dawn. We're not safe. Not yet. The wind shifted. Far away, a new sound rolled over the water, metal scraping, slow and heavy. The hunt was not over. The flames spread across the water like veins of molten glass. The Valkyrie drifted through them at slow speed, her hull reflecting the orange glow. Every man on board was silent, listening to the soft crackle of burning oil above. The war had vanished. Only ruin remained. Engines 1/3 ahead, Mahler ordered. Keep us between the wrecks. Eyes open. The periscope cut through the smoke, revealing shattered lifeboats, drifting crates, and the scattered remains of the destroyer's crew. Some floated face down, motionless. Others were gone entirely, swallowed by the sea. Jonas's voice came faintly from the observation port. Sir, movement. Port side. Mahler turned. Through a gap in the smoke, something bobbed in the waves, a figure clinging to debris. Alive. Looks like it. The captain hesitated. They couldn't surface. The fire still burned thickly. Yet he couldn't ignore a living man in that inferno. Prepare, rescue team. Surface to periscope depth. The Valkyrie rose until her conning tower brushed the underside of the smoke. A small hatch opened. Two sailors hauled the figure aboard with ropes and curses. When they brought him inside, everyone froze. The survivor wasn't one of theirs. His tattered uniform bore the insignia of the Royal Navy. His eyes were wide open but glassy, staring at nothing. Water streamed from his mouth as he coughed weakly, half drowned. Get him to the infirmary, Mahler said. As they carried the man down the narrow corridor, he began to mutter in English, broken, trembling words. The light, it sang, took them all. The captain followed, uneasy. What light? He asked softly. The survivor's eyes flicked upward, unfocused. Below, he whispered. It's still calling. And from somewhere in the flooded stern, the sonar gave one faint, rhythmic pulse, steady as a heartbeat. They laid the Englishman on the infirmary cot, his soaked uniform leaving trails of seawater across the metal floor. His skin was ghost pale, his lips blue. Every few seconds his body twitched as though remembering the cold that had nearly claimed him. Mahler stood beside the medic, arms folded, eyes fixed. Pulse steady, the medic muttered. Lungs full of seawater, but he'll live. Good, said Mahler. Then he can tell us what happened up there. The man's eyes fluttered open. They were gray, not unlike the Atlantic itself. For a moment he didn't speak. He just stared at the ceiling, lips moving soundlessly. Then a hoarse whisper escaped him. You shouldn't have come up. Mahler frowned. You're safe now. Tell me, what destroyed your ship? The man blinked slowly, as though the question were too small for the horror behind it. It wasn't your torpedo. The sea opened. Light came out of it. Not fire, something colder. It sang through the hull. Jonas, standing near the doorway, crossed himself. Sang. The survivor nodded weakly. A sound you feel, not hear. It shook the ship apart. Men jumped overboard to escape it, but it followed them down. Mahler exchanged a glance with the medic. "You're delirious," he said quietly. The man smiled faintly. "You've heard it too, haven't you?" No one answered. The soft hum of the engines filled the silence. Then the Englishman gripped the captain's sleeve, his voice suddenly sharp. "Don't dive again. It's awake now. It knows your name." Mahler pulled free, shaken more than he wanted to show. "Let him rest," he ordered. But as he left the infirmary, the sonar room crackled to life again. One faint ping echoing from the deep. The same rhythm, the same pulse. Something down there was answering. The storm came that night, sudden, brutal, uninvited. The Valkyrie rode the waves like a wounded beast, her hull groaning with every surge. Lightning flared across the horizon, illuminating the wreckage-strewn waters and the ghostly mist that clung to them. In the control room, Captain Mahler stood hunched over the chart table, his hands trembling slightly as he drew a new course. "South," he said at last. "We move away from these coordinates, now." Jonas looked up from the compass. "Sir, south means straight into the storm." "I know," Mahler said, "but we're not staying near that light. Whatever it is, it's watching us." The engines hummed back to life. Slowly, the submarine turned her prow toward the rolling black waves. As thunder rolled, the burning oil fields faded behind them, swallowed by rain. For hours they sailed blind. The storm hammered the sea, waves colliding above the conning tower. The Valkyrie dove to periscope depth to escape the worst of it, but even below the surface, the water felt restless, as if something vast was stirring beneath. In the infirmary, the Englishman slept fitfully. His breath came in ragged bursts, words spilling from his dreams. The hymn of the deep, it follows sound. When Jonas checked his pulse, he noticed something strange, a faint vibration under the man's skin, like the echo of a heartbeat that wasn't his own. He backed away. "Captain," he whispered over the intercom. "You'd better see this." Mahler arrived moments later. The storm above roared like an angry god, but in that small room, it was silent, except for a rhythmic hum that came from nowhere and everywhere at once. Then the Englishman's eyes opened. He was awake, but not seeing them. "It's beneath us again," he murmured. "It's waiting for the song." And at that exact second, the sonar pinged, 3 notes, perfectly spaced. Like music. The sonar room was bathed in red light, its shadows trembling with every flash from the storm above. Men crowded around the screen, whispering like churchgoers before a sermon. The sonar repeated the same pattern, 3 tones, soft but deliberate, echoing through the speakers in rhythm. Ping, ping, ping. Each pulse lingered longer than normal, fading into a hum that seemed to resonate inside the chest. Jonas leaned close, notebook in hand. "It's not random, sir. It's structured. There's timing. Like it's counting." "Counting what?" Mahler asked quietly. Before Jonas could answer, the signal repeated, same pitch, same pause. The frequency was unnaturally pure, too precise to be mechanical. The engineer frowned. No submarine could hold a tone that stable. Not for this long. "Could it be sonar feedback?" the radio operator asked. "No," said Mahler. "That's not feedback. It's speaking." The word hung in the air. Nobody wanted to believe it, but they all felt it. Something down there was communicating. The survivor's warning echoed in Mahler's head. "It knows your name." Jonas adjusted the dials, recording the signal on tape. As he slowed the playback, the tones shifted, their pattern becoming strangely melodic. 3 rising notes followed by a long, mournful fall. The sound made the metal walls hum faintly, like the submarine itself was listening. Then the Englishman's voice came faintly through the intercom from the infirmary. "It's calling again, isn't it?" Mahler froze. No one had contacted him. Jonas whispered, "How does he know?" The next sonar pulse hit harder, louder, deeper. Cups rattled on the tables. Lights flickered. "It's closer," Jonas said. And beneath the hum of the engines, they all heard something new. An answering vibration, not from the machine, but from the sea itself. Ping, ping, ping. And then, softly, one more note, different. Something had replied. The Valkyrie drifted in silence, her engines throttled down to idle. Every creak of the hull sounded like a whisper from something vast outside. The air was thick with tension and oil fumes. The crew barely spoke. Even the usual hum of conversation had vanished, as though the sea demanded quiet. Mahler stood before the chart table, eyes locked on the depth gauge. If we surface, we'll lose her, he said softly. If we dive, we might not come back, Jonas finished. The captain nodded slowly. But we'll find answers. He straightened, decision hardening like steel. Prepare to dive. 200 meters. Slow descent. The order echoed through the boat. Valves hissed. The submarine tilted. Outside the portholes, the water darkened again, swallowing the faint moonlight. The deeper they went, the quieter the storm became, until only the steady throb of engines and heartbeat-like sonar remained. At 180 meters, the strange signal returned. Faint at first, then growing, richer, layered. It wasn't just sound anymore. It was music. Deep, haunting, ancient. The survivor in the infirmary began to stir. His voice came through the intercom unbidden. It's awake. It's been waiting since the beginning. Mahler ignored the chill crawling up his spine. Keep her steady, he ordered. Then the sea began to glow again, soft at first, then bright enough to bathe the entire control room in silver light. The men shielded their eyes. Through the forward window, a shape emerged, vast, circular, etched with spirals of light like runes written by the ocean itself. It's not alive, Jonas whispered. It's a structure. And he was right. Beneath them stretched a colossal ring, stone or something older, resting on the seabed like an ancient altar. The sonar pulses aligned perfectly with the patterns on its surface. It wasn't calling to them. It was calling them home. No one breathed as the Valkyrie hovered above the luminous ring. The structure stretched farther than their lights could reach, a perfect circle carved into the seabed. Strange glyphs pulsed across its surface like veins of liquid light. The sea around it shimmered in steady rhythm, answering every ping of the submarine's sonar. Depth, 240 meters, Jonas said quietly. Holding steady. Mahler stared through the observation window. What is it? The engineer shook his head. No wreck. No reef. It's built. But by what? The survivor's voice drifted again from the infirmary speaker. You found the throat of the sea. Jonas flinched. He's not even awake, sir. I unplugged the intercom. Outside, the glow intensified. The ring's symbols began to shift, slowly rearranging, forming new lines, like an ancient machine rebooting after centuries of silence. The light wasn't chaotic. It was language. Captain, Jonas said, eyes wide. Look at the sonar, the patterns matching the ring's pulse. Every time it flashes, the tone shifts higher. Mahler frowned. It's responding to us. Suddenly, a tremor rolled through the ocean floor. Dust and bubbles rose around them, clouding the water. The Valkyrie pitched sideways. Men grabbed for rails as alarms wailed. Stabilize her, the engineer shouted. We're caught in some kind of current. No, not a current. It's pulling inward. The submarine drifted toward the center of the ring. Lights flickered, dials spun. The glowing symbols blazed brighter, whirling in a slow spiral. Jonas clutched the periscope rail, shouting over the noise. It's opening something. Mahler's heart pounded. The deep had no mercy, but this wasn't the sea's rage. It felt like a door unlocking, a breath being drawn after 1,000 years. And in that blinding light, a shadow waited, taller than the sub, moving like it remembered the world above. The Valkyrie was no longer descending, it was falling. The ring's glow expanded around them, swallowing the submarine in a halo of white fire that shimmered like liquid glass. For one impossible moment, every sound stopped. The sea went still. The creak of steel vanished. Even the men's ragged breathing froze in their throats. Then gravity shifted. The crew floated, their boots lifting from the floor as the world seemed to tilt sideways. Loose tools drifted like slow snow. Mahler reached out, watching his hand blur at the edges, the air thick as honey. Captain, Jonas shouted. His voice came from everywhere and nowhere at once. We're not sinking, we're being pulled through. A low hum rose from the hull, deep, resonant, not mechanical. It sounded almost alive. The walls glowed faintly with the same light that filled the water outside. For an instant, Mahler saw symbols pulsing along the metal skin of the sub, as if the ring's pattern had burned itself into their ship. Then the pressure dropped, suddenly, brutally. The men crashed back to the deck as alarms screamed. Depth reading gone, the engineer yelled. Instruments blank, compass spinning. Outside, the ocean was gone. No darkness, no current. only a slow swirl of color, green and gold, rippling like light through mist. The Valkyrie hung suspended in a vast, weightless expanse. Jonas stared through the glass, his face pale. "Sir, I think we're under the sea, but not in it." Mahler said nothing. He could feel something beyond the glass, an intelligence watching, waiting. Then, out of that glowing haze, shapes began to form. Towers, arches, the broken bones of a city that could not exist. "Its ruins," whispered Jonas. "An entire world down here." And then, from somewhere deep within the shimmering expanse, a slow, rhythmic tone answered their presence, recognizable now. The same 3 notes, the same song, but this time it was inside their heads. The haze thinned, and the city came into focus. It sprawled beneath the Valkyrie like a map of memory. Vast plazas, toppled towers, stone bridges that hung suspended in water that wasn't water at all. Every surface pulsed with faint light, veins of gold winding through gray stone like the last breath of something ancient. The crew stood pressed to the viewing glass, silent. Even the machines seemed to hush in reverence. "Those structures," Jonas whispered. "They're perfect symmetry, built with precision we couldn't match now." Mahler nodded slowly. "Not human." The sonar emitted a single soft tone, unbidden. Outside, one of the great towers answered, its surface flaring with light. The glow rippled outward through the streets, across bridges and domes, until the entire city pulsed like a single heart. The English survivor's voice rose from the intercom again, low, hollow. "You're inside its memory now. It's showing you what it was." How is he speaking without the mic connected? Jonas hissed. Mahler didn't answer. He couldn't look away. The glowing streets began to shift, the light forming shapes, silhouettes of tall beings moving through corridors of stone, their outlines fluid, their faces hidden. They gathered around a central spire that reached toward the surface like a prayer. Then the light flickered, and the vision changed. The sea churned, towers crumbled, the spire split in 2. The beings turned upward, their forms dissolving into the same 3 tones that had haunted the crew. A memory of drowning, replayed forever. The city dimmed, leaving only the faint pulse from the ring far below. Jonas whispered. They tried to speak, and the ocean answered. The captain's reflection in the glass looked older now, hollow-eyed. "And now it wants us to finish the conversation." The sonar pulsed once more, this time from inside the hull. The sound came again, soft, deliberate, from nowhere and everywhere. The crew froze, staring at the speaker grill as if it might sprout teeth. The sonar was silent now. The hum was in the walls. Jonas pressed an ear to the metal. "It's vibrating," he whispered. "Like it's alive." Before anyone could answer, the intercom crackled. A low, wordless tone drifted through, warm and human. It rose slowly, the same pattern of 3 notes, and then a 4th, trembling with emotion. The voice wasn't the machine's. It was the Englishman's. Mahler and the medic rushed to the infirmary. The survivor lay upright on the cot, eyes open, unseeing. His chest lifted in rhythm with the sound, every breath matching the pulse that trembled through the submarine. Wires on the medical monitor flickered in tune. "Restrain him," the medic said, reaching for the straps. The man turned his head slowly toward them. His lips moved, forming words between the tones. "It speaks through memory, through sound. It remembers being whole." Mahler leaned closer, his voice tight. "What is it?" The Englishman's expression softened, almost pitying. "The ocean's first voice. We built cities on its silence. Now it wants to be heard again." The captain stepped back, chills crawling up his neck. The man's pupils glowed faintly, reflecting the same golden shimmer as the ruins outside. Jonas's voice broke over the intercom. "Captain, the controls are responding on their own. Heading locked, straight for the center of the city." Mahler turned sharply. "Override it." "I can't." She's steering herself. The hum deepened, the entire sub vibrating with impossible harmony. The survivor smiled faintly, his voice layered now, his and something beneath it. "You've been invited," he whispered. "The gate never closes for those who listen." Outside, the ruins began to move. The Valkyrie glided forward without command, engines humming in perfect rhythm with the pulsing ruins outside. The crew fought the controls, but the levers wouldn't budge. The compass spun wildly, then froze, pointing straight down. Depth increasing, Jonas reported, voice shaking. 280, 300. Kill the engines, Mahler ordered. I already did. She's not listening. The glow outside brightened until it filled the entire control room, washing every face in gold. Through the viewing glass, the city parted like a curtain, the ruins shifting aside to reveal a vast crater in its heart. And at the center of that abyss, something moved. At first, it looked like a storm, a swirl of light and shadow. But as they neared, it took form. A colossal figure of translucent skin and flowing tendrils, neither creature nor current, rising from the abyss like a dream half-remembered. The singer, the Englishman whispered through the intercom, his voice echoing with two tones. The last one. It kept the memory when the others drowned. The being turned toward the submarine. No eyes, no mouth, yet the crew felt its gaze. A single, mournful note filled the water, vibrating through steel and bone alike. Jonas fell to his knees, clutching his head. It's inside me. Make it stop. Mahler grabbed him by the shoulders. Hold on, sailor. The lights flickered, and in that flash, they saw visions. Waves swallowing cities, stars falling into the sea, the world being sung into silence. The ocean's grief was not rage, it was remembrance. The creature reached toward them, its hand dissolving into mist and light that wrapped around the hull like a caress. The vibration steadied, deepened, less like sound, more like a heartbeat. Then, softly, the Englishman's voice filled the cabin again. It's not killing us, he said, smiling faintly. It's teaching us how to listen. And the Valkyrie began to descend, willingly, into the heart of the song. The abyss swallowed them whole. The Valkyrie drifted through light that was not light, silence that hummed like the memory of thunder. The creature, the singer, followed, vast and graceful, its tendrils weaving slow arcs through the shimmering depths. Every vibration that touched the hull carried emotion, not pressure, sorrow, longing, and something older than language. Inside the control room, the crew stood frozen at their stations. The instruments glowed faintly, displaying impossible readings, pressure negative, gravity unstable, depth incalculable. Jonas whispered, "Sir, we're somewhere that shouldn't exist." Mahler's voice came back calm but hoarse. "Then we'll be the first to describe it." The Englishman appeared in the doorway, pale but steady. His eyes no longer reflected the ship's lights. They generated their own faint golden hue. He spoke in a voice not entirely his own. "You've crossed where sound becomes shape, where every noise remembers what it once was." The words barely registered before the walls began to shimmer. Symbols formed across the metal and flowing light, matching those on the ruins outside. The hull sang softly, a low, resonant hum that harmonized with the singer's call. The men clasped their ears, but it wasn't pain. It was clarity. Memories that weren't theirs flashed in their minds. Oceans forming, creatures rising, the sea learning to dream. Jonas gasped, eyes wide. "It's showing us everything." The Englishman nodded. "It wants witnesses, not believers." Then the singer drew closer, its tendrils brushing the submarine. Every touch made the steel tremble with warmth. The men could feel the song now, not with their ears, but through the rhythm of their hearts. For the first time, Mahler understood. The ocean wasn't trying to destroy them. It was lonely. He placed a hand on the glass and whispered, "We hear you." And the abyss answered, one perfect note, soft as breath, that made the sea glow brighter than day. The note lingered, endless and soft, until it became part of the air they breathed. Every rivet, every droplet of condensation on the steel seemed to vibrate in sympathy. The men stood dazed, their faces caught between awe and terror. Jonas wiped his eyes. "Sir, I can hear voices inside it. Like people. Thousands." "They're not people anymore," murmured the Englishman. His voice was quiet, almost kind. "They're the memories of those who listened too long." Mahler turned toward him. "You mean they became part of this?" "They were given peace," came the answer. "The sea remembers what the surface forgets." The captain looked around his ship. The Valkyrie, his steel refuge, his coffin of duty, now felt like a living thing. The walls pulsed faintly, matching the rhythm of the singer's glow outside. He thought of his men, of the war they'd fled, of the countless lives swallowed by the Atlantic long before this night. "What happens if we stay?" he asked. The Englishman smiled sadly. "You'll never drown. You'll never surface. You'll belong. Jonas gripped the edge of the chart table. And if we go back, then you carry the song with you. It will never stop calling. A tremor passed through the hull, gentle like a sigh. The singer was rising now, slowly, its body stretching toward the unseen surface. The light surrounding it dimmed, turning from gold to deep blue. It was waiting. Mahler's hand hovered over the controls. He could feel the decision inside his bones. Return to the surface, a world of war, smoke, and loss. Or stay here, in the impossible calm of the deep, remembered forever. He looked at his crew. We've heard the voice of the sea, he said softly. Now we decide if we answer. The engines hummed, idle but ready. The abyss pulsed one last time, expectant. Jonas whispered, Sir, what's your order? For a long time, no one spoke. The Valkyrie floated weightless in a halo of shifting blue, caught between the living sea above and the dreaming one below. The singer's vast form shimmered outside, patient, timeless, waiting for the smallest sign of intent. Mahler gripped the helm. His reflection wavered in the glass, half man, half ghost. We came here by defying the sea, he said quietly. Maybe it's time we stopped fighting it. Jonas stepped forward, shaking his head. Sir, if we stay, we're done. The world will never know what happened to us. Maybe the world doesn't deserve to, Mahler replied. His voice was calm now, almost gentle. We've killed enough for it already. The Englishman, still glowing faintly, smiled. It will remember you either way. The sea always does. The captain's fingers hovered over the depth controls. His men waited, eyes fixed on him, hearts pounding. For a heartbeat, it seemed he would let go, allow the ocean to take them, to let their names dissolve into the long, endless hum of memory. Then he turned the dial sharply. Engines, full power, ascend. Jonas blinked. Sir, we carry the song, Mahler said, not the silence. The Valkyrie roared to life. The hull shuddered as bubbles streamed upward, light flickering past the windows. The singer's form tilted slightly, watching. A final tone echoed through the depths, soft, approving. The submarine rose through colors that faded from blue to black. The glow dimmed behind them until it was no more than a spark. Depth decreasing. Jonas called out, voice breaking with relief. 200-150. But the Englishman remained by the doorway, smiling faintly as the glow faded from his eyes. You chose to remember, he whispered. That's enough. And as the light of the deep disappeared below, his body dissolved into dust, golden and weightless, like a last breath of the sea itself. The Valkyrie broke through the surface with a shudder that echoed through every bolt and beam. For a heartbeat, no one breathed. Then air, cold, raw, alive. Spray burst through the vents, and the crew stumbled to the periscope, gasping at the endless gray sky above. Surface confirmed, Jonas shouted, laughter tangled with disbelief. We made it. Mahler leaned against the console, chest heaving. The deck smelled of salt and oil and rain, a scent that had never felt so real. Yet something was wrong. The sky looked different. Not dawn, not dusk, but a pale, washed-out color that seemed to hum faintly. The sea was still, too still. Radio, Mahler said. Give me a signal. Jonas twisted the dial, static filling the cabin. He flipped through every frequency, but all he found were bursts of faint, harmonic tones, 3 notes, low and familiar. The song again, but distant now, diluted. Nothing human, Jonas muttered. Not even Morse. Mahler frowned. Check the chronometer. The young sailor's hands trembled as he did. Sir, it's not reading right. It says 21 years since we dove. The room fell silent. Outside, the horizon shimmered strangely, as if the air itself remembered a different world. There were no ships, no smoke, no gulls. Only the endless calm of a sea that had learned to listen. We didn't just rise, Mahler whispered. We returned. Jonas looked at him, pale. Returned to what? Before he could answer, the sonar pulsed once. A gentle, familiar heartbeat from below. The men froze. Out on the waves, faint golden ripples began to form in the distance, like the reflection of something vast moving beneath them. The captain closed his eyes. The echo was not a warning. It was a farewell. He smiled. She's still singing. And from somewhere deep below, the ocean answered, with 3 soft notes that trembled through the air like a promise. The golden ripples spread wider, circling the Valkyrie in gentle spirals. The crew stood at the periscope, silent, their faces bathed in the strange twilight. The ocean was calm, too calm, as if holding its breath for them. Jonas whispered, "Sir, if 20 years passed, what's left for us up there?" Mahler didn't answer. He watched the horizon, where sky and water blended into one seamless gray. "Maybe this is what's left," he said softly. "The sea kept us. Now it lets us go." The sonar pulsed again, 3 notes, fading slowly, like a heartbeat receding into memory. Then silence. The Englishman's bunk was empty now, nothing left but a faint shimmer on the sheets, as if light had once lain there. The men gathered in the control room, waiting for orders that might never come. Mahler finally spoke. "Set course east. Maybe we'll find a coast that remembers our names." Jonas hesitated, then nodded. The engines stirred, reluctant but obedient. The Valkyrie turned toward the unknown horizon, leaving behind a circle of still water glowing faintly gold. Hours passed. No ships, no radio, only the hum of the engines and the whisper of the tide. The men took turns above deck, staring into an ocean that seemed more alive than ever before. Some swore they could still hear the song beneath the waves, soft, patient, eternal. At dusk, the captain emerged onto the bridge. The wind smelled new, untouched. He removed his cap, letting the air touch his hair for the first time in years. Behind him, Jonas spoke quietly. "Do you think anyone will believe us?" Mahler smiled faintly. "They won't need to. The ocean will remember." And as the sun dipped beneath the horizon, the sea shimmered once more, a single golden note rippling across the waves, an echo of everything they'd seen, everything they'd become. The Valkyrie sailed on, small and steady, until the mist swallowed her whole. Below, in the quiet heart of the Atlantic, the singer slept again, its song carried forever by those who had once dared to listen. End.